with Intention, podcast where we bring you stories from around the globe. Hello and welcome everyone to another episode on Rise and Thrive Mornings with Intention. And today I have a beautiful guest with me, Susanne Ekström from Sweden, a founder and CEO of BeASmarterLeader and in Management. So welcome. So happy to have you here, Susanne.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here.
Thank you so much. And please tell us a little bit more about yourself. And we know you're from Sweden, but if you want to go in depth on that, go ahead.
Yeah. As you said, my name is Susanne Ekström. I live in Gothenburg, Sweden, on the west coast. And I've been a management consultant for many years. And the last couple of years, I've transitioned to be a CEO coach. So my target audience is CEOs on the East Coast, actually, of the United States, and with a head count of between 50 to 200 employees. And I coach them into building winning companies where people love to work. So that's my mission. And when I'm not working, I am a single mom to two almost grown-up sons now. So that's
amazing.
a bit about me. Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, thank you so much for sharing. So I was reading a little bit about you and your story. So it starts with basketball. Your basketball story is such a powerful example of leadership gone wrong, actually. So how did that experience shape your leadership philosophy today?
Yeah, I played basketball since I was like 8 years old or something, and when I played in my high school basketball team, I had a coach that didn't listen to me, or I didn't communicate in a way that was effective, and I wanted to be a point guard, and because that was what I always played as. But he put me as a center because I'm tall. And as I said, I didn't know how to communicate that, and he just told me what to do. And of course, there were other people in the team who were point guards, and so I got a bit of leftover without knowing how to express myself, and so I got less and less motivated. I started to play worse and worse because I lost my self-confidence. And one day I just left the team and I have never played basketball since.
Oh,
Yeah, so that was a huge failure for me early in my life. And I realized then, or I told myself that I'm not good enough.
mm.
And that has been with me all my life since that point. And that also taught me the lesson later on that you can be a great leader or a coach for a basketball team, for example, and you can listen to your team and take their opinions in mind and do what's best both for the company and the team, or you can just tell people what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that was what my coach did. And you won't win so many games. You won't create a championship caliber team by telling people what to do.
Yeah.
That might be like successful in the short run, but not in the long run.
Yeah. But it's funny how sometimes things happen in our childhood and they stay with us for good part of our life. And that's actually what happened to me too. As I went into personal development like almost 5 years ago, deep dive into it because obviously we learn every day. But and not too long ago, I realized like a lot of these things that I personally was going through stemmed all the way from my childhood when somebody said something or somebody did something. And I
Mm,
remember there was a girl with the same name as me in my classroom. And it just seemed like she was better than me. It was just this competition in my own mind. And then,
mm,
boys would look up at her and not at me. And I was like, why does she have to be in the same class as me? And, I come from a small village, so of course there's nowhere to go.
mm.
But I remember one time something happened and it stayed with me for life because she she did something that wasn't right.
Mm,
And she got the credit for it, not me. And
mm,
it's just stayed with me. But then I forgot over the years. And then I remember reflecting back on things in my life, why certain things happened. And I'm like, oh my goodness, that
mm,
stems all the way from that. And it never left the subconscious. It stayed there. It's like, well, she did this, or, I
mm.
wasn't good enough, or, it's so funny how these things stay with us. So I totally understand where you're coming from. Of course, different experiences, but still, it's a funny thing. But what can you
Yeah,
do,
and
right? We have to uh move on and get over it sometimes, right? Or
yeah.
make something much better out of it. And this is where like, can you share a time in your career where you overcame adversity or broke through a barrier as a leader? Did you have anything like that?
Uh, yeah, I continued. I started to work in the IT business, and this was at the end of in the 90s, and so there was like this huge IT boom, and we were going into the dot-com era, and people were printing money pretty much in the IT business, and I was one of the main founders of a large Swedish dot-com at the moment, and then at that point, I was pretty free, self-expressed, and not thinking so much about not being good enough. And I flew all over the world, and I moved to the Netherlands to start up our Dutch office there. And then one day, when I was in the elevator in Val d'Isère in France, in the France Alps, the French Alps, it should be. One of my colleagues called me and said that we had filed for bankruptcy. So I
Oh.
was there in this beautiful scenery, sitting in the lift, and the tears were just like pouring down on my cheeks. And so that was like the second uh, really major breakdown in my life. That it was not just in basketball I wasn't good enough, but it also was in business, and I lost a lot of money, and the belief in everything around creating a business and keeping it sustainable. But I also saw that we were lacking processes, like efficient ways of working. We lacked how to scale, but also, as I told you before about the basketball thing, we didn't listen to our people. We thought we had it all handled and that we knew best, and yeah. So, and of course it was the market situation and everything, but still we didn't listen to the people.
Mm.
And after that, I saw that the opportunity was for me to work with companies that didn't have IT as the solution of their problems. So that was a big turnaround for me to really get in depth with different companies of different sizes in different industries, to learn about how both they do things on an operational level, but and how that interact with the bigger picture of the company. And that is one of my main uh, areas of success, that I really see the importance of not being stuck working in your business as a founder or a CEO, and take a step back, look at the bigger picture, and work more on your business. And this is something that is seldom taught how you work on the bigger picture of a company. It's much, the most trainings are around being a leader or transformational leadership, and a lot of courses like that. But it's not about like how you actually work in an efficient way that you free up time so that you can actually work on your business. And also what I see is really important as a connection to my basketball story is like when you go to work, when you dress for work in the morning, put on your large ears so you can actually listen to your people.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that you need to listen to each and every one of them, but you need to create or you want to create a company culture where everyone feels heard, and that no matter what their role is, they are equally important. So the CEO, he or she has one role, the receptionist has another one, and the production manager is a third role, for example. And each role is needed for the company to function. And
Exactly.
that we are not better than the weakest part uh, of the our system, like our company.
Yeah.
Now I don't know if I answered your question or if I
No, no, that's
went
great. We'll definitely get into it more. But I do want to congratulate you on becoming international best-selling author in the Leadership Unveiled, Women Leading with Impact. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
It's really exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a new thing for me to be actually being an author as well.
So what is the name of the chapter in your in that book, and what inspired you to take part in this book?
Yeah, my chapter is called From Not Good Enough to Have the Power to Create. And what inspired me was to do this together with other successful business people and to co-create something. I actually didn't know beforehand that this was something you could do. And so that was a huge opportunity for me to, instead of writing a whole book of my own on my own, to do things together with other people, to create team and teamwork around both creating the different chapters, but also the whole publishing process and the marketing around it and everything. Yeah, that was total new opportunity, a new yeah, marketing channel for me, I would
Mhm.
say.
It's
Yeah.
definitely a beautiful experience as also being a part of Action Takers Publishing and international best-selling author. So, yeah, it opens a lot of new doors, opportunities, and connections. So that's definitely a beautiful experience.
Mm.
Um, you often say culture eats structure for breakfast. Can you
Yeah.
expand on that and how leaders can build strong team cultures, please?
Yes, and that's connected to my thing about always wear your large ears to work or anywhere in life. Actually, it's coming. It's good. It will benefit you even with together with your spouse, for example, to wear your large ears, and um, and that's also related to don't tell people what to do. Instead, ask for their own opinions and ideas and bottlenecks and what they see. And you can have this fantastic, shy, like really, really great strategy, and it's approved by the board, and you put it out in the reception and everything, and you also put your values there. But if you don't have the buy-in from the most important stakeholders of your company, then it's to no use. And your employees, they can make or break all your structures and strategies uh, in an instance. And that is for me the most important thing, that you firstly, when I work with the CEO, I help him or her to buy back at least 8 hours a week, to free up time from boring meetings or long endless meetings or inefficient ways of working or being in operations instead of making yourself redundant. And the next thing is to really start involving your people in your change management work. If we're going to improve things, and I have often, it is like that when you grow a company to over a certain size, that you would become distant from operations, and you don't know what's actually going on. You don't know everyone anymore. And then it's easy to sit there and think that you know what needs fixing. But often that will only be a band-aid. And if you go out and you listen to your people and you ask them questions, and instead of listening to defend yourself or to explain why it is this or that way, and you really listen to understand, and you make sure that you got their message by telling them back that, yeah, is this what you meant? And they say yes. So they feel heard and you got them. Then you might not do anything about it because it might be counterproductive to your strategy, but still they felt heard. And that's how you build a company culture that will listen to you as well. And also, like really simple example, but if you listen to your people and they say, hey, in the cafeteria, in the Coke machine, the Cokes are always finished by Wednesday, and so there are not enough Cokes until Friday. We want Cokes until Friday. And if you fix that one, you will help them fix their problem. And if you do that first, both with fixing the Coke machine, but also simple things they might see as huge obstacles or problems or bottlenecks in their way of doing things, and you fix them first, then often that will create positive ripple effects that when it comes to your problem, it might not exist anymore because either people fixed it already or it suddenly just vanished because people were doing things differently. And yes, so it has to do with empowering your people and creating a culture where people are seen, heard, and valued instead of you telling them what to do.
Yeah.
And so that is what I mean with that the culture can, yeah, eat strategy for breakfast any day of the week. That if they are not aligning with you, then it will be really hard work for you as a CEO. And they don't need to be what do you say, agreeing with everything, but yeah, aligning is the word. And it's much more important that you have a strategy that you like, but not to 100%, like maybe 80%, but you have the buy-in from your people. So they will go that extra mile for that strategy, so they can see themselves and their personal goals aligning with the strategy.
Yeah.
That is much more important than you getting your way.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a give and take, I believe, on both sides. You know, working before for big or small corporations. I know at one point we had I was working in a warehouse, and we actually had the business was growing. Although we felt the when it went from being like the family business to expanding, we did feel like we were kind of forgotten, and that family environment wasn't so much anymore because obviously things change. But eventually, because the warehouse was bigger now, there was more people. We had this thing on the board called a suggestion board, where we as staff can communicate and put suggestions. So management had to do their the diligence and go and read those things. And it went through a process kind of thing. Okay, they read it, they sign on it that they've read it. And then the
Yeah.
next step was whether they actually approved the request or denied, but respectfully why it was denied, for example.
Mm.
So
Mm.
that's what they put in place to communicate with us because emails, we get bombarded with those day in and day out, right? But a
Yeah.
simple thing where the people can come and say, hey, you know what? To make our life easier, we maybe need gloves for the warehouse that
Yeah.
will be cut proof instead of these ones that fall apart in 2 seconds. Or we need proper chairs because they're falling apart or whatever. So we used to
Mm.
put suggestions in there and they used to be either accepted or rejected. So I think it's really important to work both ends because it makes for a better environment, less stress, and things like that. And I think any work environment can use that because it's just easier flow.
Mm.
And people actually enjoy coming to work. And when you enjoy coming to work, you're working better, you're
Mm.
happier, and
Yeah.
it's a give and take, I believe, on all parts. So it's balance, just like in life. You should have balance on relationships, money, and all that. Same at work. There should be structure and balance as well, because after all, a lot of us do spend time going to work 8 hours a day, and then you just can't
Yeah.
wait to go home usually, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The saying about how your company culture works, it shows on Sunday afternoon for your employees if they look forward to coming back on Monday or if they dread another week at the office.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm.
exactly. So, the leadership is of course evolving like anything else. What are some of the biggest challenges women face in leadership roles today, you would say, and how can they navigate them?
Ooh, um, yeah, I would say that we still have a really dominant male leadership or management culture, and I have been uh, um, what do you say affected by that a couple of times throughout my journey. That when when you come in as a new person in a leadership team, for example, uh, you come into the team for the person you are and the knowledge you have, and then it's when you start to come up with ideas and you open up for discussions and you're not agreeing with the CEO, for example, and if then in this case he's a guy, then uh, you become uh, a problem, and you won't be listened to as much, and you will be more of an obstacle or someone who is working against us instead of with us, and not fully seeing uh, the the contribution that in this case I wanted to make, and instead seeing me as someone who is complaining. And I think that has a lot to do with that we have, to be generic, we have different types of conversational styles as women and as men, and and uh, and that can be a problem if you don't know how to play the game, uh, the management or leadership game in the best possible way. It's like politics. It's if you come to a company with over a certain size, there is a lot of positioning and games being played. If you are more in the old like command and control type of company, but nowadays we have so many new startups with different types of leadership and more autonomous, and so it's it's different today, but we still create new companies that build this old command and control way of manage and lead the company. But also we have a lot of worldwide companies anywhere in our on our globe that is more of the traditional one. And I also think that in general that women are not as good as standing up for themselves and being clear about their value and their what they bring to the table for a company. They more in general like, but this should be obvious that I'm contributing with this. But instead, you are not seen as someone who wants a higher position, for example, and so you don't know why, and you keep on contributing, you keep on doing the work, and everyone is relying on you because Susan, she will always do the job. And then I'm in like a vicious circle of doing all the work but not getting any credit for it, so to speak. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that. And being a single mom, as you mentioned, and I'm also a single mom with one child, 6 years old. Balancing personal and professional life is a challenge to some leaders. How have you managed to maintain that balance?
I've I became a single mom when my kids were 2 and 4 years old.
Oh, wow.
And for the first years, I always separate. I had my kids every second week, so I worked the week that I didn't have them to be able to be with them. Of course, I worked both weeks, but I made sure that if I was going on a business trip and stuff, I always went on the weeks I didn't have them. So I somehow balanced it when they were
Yeah,
small.
juggling.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But then when they were, let's see, when my youngest were 11 and my oldest were 12, 13, I started my own company. And because then I could have more freedom around traveling, at least over the day. But at that point, my youngest kid, he he started to not. He had been a bit like uh, doing unusual stuff beforehand, but this started to become something that I had to pay attention to. For real, because he couldn't read. He was like 11, 12 years old. He couldn't read. So I had to put him, I put him through a lot of tests, and he also uh, shoplifted and got caught by the police. And so he did a lot of things that you can say that, yeah,
The
it's,
teenage years, I know them well.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
We all
But
go through things in life, and sometimes they're more than what they need to be. I wasn't a perfect teenager either, so I know when it comes, because when I moved to Canada, I that was one of my hardest times in my personal life, and I was I think 12, 13. I think 12 and a half, so it was also very hard, the teenage years,
yeah, yeah,
so
yeah,
I totally
yeah,
understand. But it sounds like they are doing well now, and you're
yeah.
thriving in
But
your business.
yeah, but my youngest, he we found out that he has both ADHD and autism.
Mm.
So he was home from school for 4 years. He didn't participate in school, in life, or in anything, and it was just me and him, and we were stuck in that situation. So
Mhm.
so that was a horrible period in my life, and that brought my parenthood to another ballpark. because yeah, he was not functioning in life, and I wanted to fix him. I wanted him to be as my other child when he clearly wasn't, and I did a course at some point almost 2 years ago, and I realized that yeah, it was up to me to because I listened to him, like he always says no when I ask him things, and then I asked him something and he said no, and yeah, of course he will. Of course he did, because that's how he answered. So I had to bribe him to get out of the house even. And I realized during this course that uh, that if I want any change, it's up to me, and that I need to both listen and speak to him in a different way than I've done before. Instead of coming from my point of view to see things in life, I need to be open to come from his point of view. And that led to actually that he, a couple of months later, moved to a specialized boarding school for children with ADHD and autism. And now, instead of being 4 years behind in school, he's now 1 year behind, and he's going to graduate high school in
Wow.
1.5 years.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
Lots of lessons, lots of struggles at the same time, but
Yeah.
you are here and thriving, and that's the most important thing. And you are here to show us, how to do it, and life goes on, right?
Yeah, life goes on. That's for sure.
Yeah. So, I see you offer a 15-minute consultation. How can people reach out to you? Where can they find you? Aside from, of course, we will post everything, but please let them know what you offer so people can reach out to you for expertise and advice.
Yeah, most people find me on LinkedIn, where I post every day, and I also do a lot of events, either LinkedIn lives or workshops for CEOs in my target audience, both to learn more about how they can master their time in a better way than they have up until now. But also I have a program that's called Boost Your Bottom Line by 499K and delivered in 99 days. And that is a program to turn around and get your people to buy in to your strategy and your vision, and for you to also then free up time, but to be more in sync with your culture, and that will lead you to that. Though that 499K will just be one of the positive results you will see from doing this work. And the 50 minutes you talk about is to have an initial call around productivity and profitability, and to see where you are at, and how I can provide any coaching or programs to you.
Awesome. So again, to our listeners, I will post all the links in this YouTube video, and of course, it's gonna be shared on Apple Podcast, Spotify, and Facebook. So the name of the podcast is Rise and Thrive: Mornings with Intention. How important do you think it is to set intentions first thing in the morning?
Oh, that is a make or break the day. And if you wake up, for example, in a terrible mood, and you don't do anything about it, now I see that it's starting to get a bit dark here in Sweden, because it's almost 6 o'clock in the evening, and yeah, you go through the day with a negative attitude, and something I learned also is that when you are calling a prospect, and before you pick up the phone, you think like, oh, I don't want to call this person. He or she, they seem like so successful. They don't need my help. Like, if you create yourself, or you set that intention before you make the call, of course you won't have a a great call with them. It's going to be more like of stress and if they answer firstly.
Yeah, yeah. They'll feel that
So
energy right through you, right?
yeah, exactly. And if it's like in Florida going to Sweden, it doesn't matter because if you think about like hopefully they won't pick up the phone, so I can leave them a text instead. They won't pick up the phone.
Yeah.
And that's the same with creating a morning intention. Like you can create yourself as I do, as irresistible, brave, and fun. Uh, or you can create yourself as uh, irritated, now I don't know
Obnoxious.
how to say that anyway. Yeah. But like you can create yourself as negative, or if you don't do it at all, you will end up being the way you are. But if you're really intentional and really focus on what you want to achieve today and how you're going to be to achieve that, that will make a huge difference for the day.
Yeah, and bumps can happen along the way throughout the day, but it's like my favorite mentor now, Dr. Joe Dispenza says it's how long you stay in that vibration and energy, right? Like
Mm,
to get out of it, the faster you do it, the better for you. Because I know
yeah.
bumps happen throughout the day, but
Yeah.
yeah, I totally agree with you. So thank you so much for sharing that with us, Suzanne, and I truly hope our viewers enjoy this beautiful podcast. So, thank you once again, Suzanne, to be here with us. And I'll see you guys next time on another episode. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're
It was
welcome. Have a great day.
great to spend time with you.
Thank you.